Ok, vamos.
Las informaciones, vecinos matan a un hombre en Jaina tras discusión por agua, en un hecho que ocurrió la noche de este domingo. Además, en Sosúa, un ciudadano estadounidense perdió la vida por heridas de arma blanca. Por este último caso está siendo investigada la señora Jessica Toussaint.
Okay, so the lady's name is Jessica Toussaint. They say she's Haitian. It looks like this guy went to pay for play, and sadly didn't make it. Didn't make it. So yeah, these are some of the dangers out there when you go to these countries. You know, like the one guy died. He was an expat. So I give it to him. The But that was over water dispute. Then the second guy died from tricking, which not everybody makes it out of these scenarios. Some of these countries that people play with are very dangerous countries. We don't want to admit it, but is it worth losing your life over some bucks, really, guys? Some of these countries, as you can see, I mean, I when I was in the expat community in Colombia, I saw this all the time. Of course, it depends how you move. If you got the right connections, you can survive a lot of these issues. But as you've seen here in the video, not everybody makes it. So the question now is it worth it? Is box worth the risk of losing your life? Especially in these places that have become known as sex tourist destinations. Like, can you not go to a different country that has like a better safety record? The U.S. Department of State puts out security bulletins literally every month. You can go on the State Department's website and look at certain countries that you shouldn't travel to. And the reason you should do this often is that some countries can be safe, but then there could be an uprising going on, maybe a political uprising last week that you may not have heard of. And if you don't look at these bulletins, you'd find yourself in a country that you were not supposed to travel to in the first place. And a lot of these countries that people go to, the DR has been on that list. It's really high security alert. Colombia has been on that list. The US government tells you not to use Tinder in these countries, but ninjas still go there and they still use it. People defy all these rules, and you may get away with it, but there's also stories like this where guys didn't make it. And you got to ask yourself, like, if you have to pay for box, are you paying for the box in the right places? Are you going to places that are safe? I am on the side of just stay away from prostitution altogether. Stop being a purchaser of it. Stop being a participant of it. What it does to your brain as a human being, and especially as a man, it clouds your judgment on a lot of things. And most of the men that participate in this don't grow. They become more and more flawed over time. And sometimes you might get yourself in a situation where you might need therapy to get yourself out of these situations. When you get so deep into it, when I go into a lot of these live streams, what I've realized is a lot of these guys are not well. They're not well in their mental state. They're not well in their decision making. And they're also not well in their growth. They haven't grown as men. And these are 30, 40, 50-year-old men. So, these stories are here for a reason.
Del señor Carlos Alberto Canelo Benítez, de 60 años de edad. Esto es un hecho en un conflicto social originado en lo que es el sector Invi-Sea, en los bajos de Jaina, provincia.
So yeah, the province is Jaina. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with that part of the DR. But why would you fight over water as an American expat in a country? This is the arrogance that American citizens tend to have. And This is not even a racial thing. All Americans do this, black, white, just generally all Americans. When you travel outside the US, you think everywhere is America, or you think you have rights in some of these countries, and sometimes you don't. You're going into countries that are really lawless, that don't have any constitutional order. It's just they don't have any justice systems that are as good as the ones here in the US. And people get carried away. We're told that you live in the best country in the world and you got everything, and you can talk to a cop and say whatever you want here in the US. Well, if you come to my country, you can't talk to the police how you want. They're gonna whoop your ass. So you gotta learn all these little nuances that exist in all these countries before you act a fool. Like, what would you fight over? What of all the things that you could fight for? Uh, and one thing that people don't realize, like in developing countries in general, and Africa, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and South America, people don't care about lives like that. They don't value human life. So, taking your life feels more like just giving you a punch. To them, it feels the same. They'll take you out for very stupid shit like this. This guy got killed because of water, like a communal water dispute, is what they're saying in the news.
San Cristóbal. Con relación a este caso, se está persiguiendo de manera activa a los autores, que son 2 personas en proceso de identificación y que siempre conforme a los datos preliminares le habrían pues vociferado que esto se trataba por haber discutido con unas vecinas que de él y su esposa.
Yeah, so this was a neighbor actually that they got into it with the neighbor. In the US, you can have a dispute with the neighbor and it won't be as bad. You might end up calling the cops if that, but you're dealing with a country where people don't really care about people's lives. And if you're in an expat community, I'm sure everybody communicates this. Like, if you come across a robbery, just give up all your shit. If you're in Colombia and somebody runs up on you, wants to take your stuff, just give it up. Give everything you have up, even say thank you after that. Give it up and say thank you, and even wave at them on their way out. Don't ever fight back. Don't ever push back. If you do, they'll take your life. They'll take your life, especially if they don't get anything from you. So please be careful when you especially in South America. I say this with a lot of experience. When you're in South America and you come under you have a robbery situation, voluntarily just give it up. Don't even fight back. Don't yell. Don't ask for holler for attention or help. Just give it all up. And when he's leaving, just wave at him and say thank you. That's a lot. That'll be a much better outcome than trying to fight back.
En esta jurisdicción, quienes en horas de la mañana habrían discutido por un tema de que se estaban limpiando y le habrían tirado el agua.
Mr. R, thanks for watching me, brother. Thanks, man. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too, man. Have a great week. I know we're just getting started in a week.
Hacia el frente de la casa vecina. El ciudadano estadounidense John Eric Santos, de 63.
So it looks like he had a Hispanic name. He could have been a a dual citizen, or like a resident.
Años de edad y ya en el día
How
de
much?
ayer.
Hold on.
Años de edad, de 63 años de edad y.
Oh, he's 73 years old. Wait. Or 63.
John Eric Santos, de 63 años de edad y ya en el día de ayer se entregó a través de personas de esta comunidad, la nombrada Jessica Townsend, quien fue la última persona en ser vista en compañía del hoy occiso.
Con referencia a la salud del agente policial herido durante un supuesto intercambio de disparos donde cayeron abatidos 5 hombres en Santiago,
73. That's 73 years old. But he was an older dude. He's probably a retiree. It looks like a retirement neighborhood, but why fight over water, man? I don't get it. The other guy died from tricking, bought a chica somewhere in Sosua. Older dude They were both older. I think this guy had a last name, Hispanic last name, so I think he's probably not a not a white guy. But the other one was a white guy from the U.S. Who was visiting and tricking. Your typical sex tourist. People are playing a very dangerous game in these countries, man. You got to be very careful when prostitution. What people don't know is like it's tied to an underground or an underworld economy. So there's always a lot of criminal gangs that are part of the trade. Like these girls are working not just for themselves, even if it's legal in those countries. They pay something called vacunas. So for those of you that don't know Spanish or the South American region, well, there's a word called vacunas. It translates as vaccine. And the reason the bad guys use the word vacunas, which is vaccine, is that it vaccinates you against against potentially is a form of extortion. So like even though you've gone to Centro and you've worked to your clients, they expect you to come back and pay a percentage to them, and that percentage protects those girls from other people extorting them, from even people killing them. This is very common in a lot of Latin America that even has legal prostitution. So if you ever hear the word vacunas, that's what it means. It's a vaccine. It's like a protection that these girls pay, even if they don't have direct pimps. And when you get yourself in that cycle of paying for bucks and you're going to these red light districts or these brothels, you're really embedding yourself with with vacuna sounds like with JJ. Ah, yeah, yeah, you're really embedding yourself with criminal groups that sometimes you're not aware of because in your mind you're just, paying for bucks. Kung Fu says organized crime exactly. Prostitution is always linked to those criminal elements in any country that you go to, and you could really put yourself in a company of some very, very bad hombres. So, you know, people might look at me and say, "Oh, this guy's a passport bro hater." I'm not. I just think the way that people are going about it is it's not. I think the best way is to genuinely go on real dates with real people, maybe not even on the apps, but through just living there or traveling to these places, and stay away from countries that are known as sex tourist destinations like Sosua, Colombia, like some of these places. I mean, of course, not all of Colombia, but go to Manizales, don't go to Medellin, don't go to Cartagena. Go to these cities that are not known to have sex tourism and meet real people and do real relationships. If you go to Africa, go to Kenya, go to Uganda, meet real people. Don't go to the red light districts, don't go to the brothels. Just spend a couple of days in your trip. It doesn't take that long to really get into relationships in these countries in the first place. So if you're over there for 2 weeks and you don't have enough game to meet somebody beautiful over 2 weeks, then maybe you shouldn't be traveling at all, right? But if you really want to involve yourself in the tricking and the underworld, you're putting yourself at risk. And you're seeing here it is, just a week ago, 2 people have lost their lives. One of them is not for tricking, but that's for being in the wrong country. Ours says men will always be stupid for the bucks. It all started with Adam and Eve. I agree, man. I couldn't agree more, my brother. It does. But we can also have some type of self control. I think what is happening now is like a lot of the guys are traveling, like they'll go to Thailand, they'll have some Thai bucks for a while. Then they'll switch it up and go to Africa and they'll have African bucks. Then they'll switch it up and they'll go to Europe. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to just keep piling on bodies and bodies. I believe that sometimes you're just inviting evil spirit and bad luck, depending on who you sleep with. So I think the best outcome is if the box is the box, just settle down and find one that is of quality. And if you want to be a polygamist, you can go to Africa. There's some countries that will allow you, and you can have a couple of them that are decent, and get your mind off this um perceived righteousness that you should be going all over this country. So I was like, yeah, Kung Fu, man. I told you the story in England where my bosses would go every summer to Thailand and they'll come back with an STD. And that was like, what, 20 years ago? So more than 20 years ago. So that thing has already cooked up. I'm sure if you breathe the air there in Bangkok or in Pattaya, you're probably going to catch something. But these guys are going there because it's cheaper. I heard this shit is so cheap over there that they keep going, you know. Yesterday there was yesterday or the day before there was a stream on Razor Rays and there was some guys over there in Thailand. I didn't watch it. I just saw the title and I didn't watch it. I don't understand that stream. There's really nothing to learn from there.